everyone, welcome back to my channel. This is Heidi from My Reading Life, and I'm here to finally start this vlog. So you will have seen footage of what I've been up to today. It is Saturday, December the 9th, and should be the second day of mid-month book bash, but I'm going to cheat and start my mid-month book bash today because that is how Doris would do it, and I am going to channel her energy. It has been such a busy month already, and I definitely need to focus in on some reading just for my own mental well-being. And you can see that I was up to fun things today. I did a sip and paint for the first time. Those of you who are in the United States probably know what I mean by a sip and paint. Those of you who are outside of the United States, I don't know if you have this, but it's a gathering of friends where you follow instructions to make a painting, and usually you sip alcoholic beverages. This was a brunch sip and paint for a friend's birthday. So we just had, some people had mimosas, but I just had juice because I didn't feel like partaking. But I had a really fun time with it. I am not creative that way, in that artistic way with paint or whatever, but I was like, I can tell what my painting is supposed to be. So I had fun with it. And then we went to get our Christmas trees at our local Christmas tree farm, and that was really fun. And you can see it was quite snowy. We had snow earlier this week, and it is supposed to warm up tomorrow and start raining and be quite windy on Monday. So probably the snow will be all gone. And so I'm glad that we went and got our trees today when it was still snowy. So what am I reading in this mid-month book bash? And before I tell you that, let's just explain together as friends how what we're doing for mid-month book bash. And this is a concept that was created by Doris over at Aldi Books, where we focus on the second weekend of the month, usually on our reading, and try to get ourselves a little boost in the reading department to not leave all of our goals that we want to get through to the end of the month. And so it usually goes through the Friday to a Monday for 4 days of focused reading. But because of my busy schedule, mine's going to go from Saturday till Tuesday this weekend. So here we are. And what I have been reading are two books. One is a mystery, and it is In the Presence of the Enemy by Elizabeth George. This is the next book in the Detective Lindley mystery series that I have been buddy reading with Britta Bowler. And we are currently reading this one together. We've read the first 200 pages of this story. It is very good so far. In this one, Detective Lindley actually has yet to be involved in the story. It is his friend St. James and his Lindley's girlfriend Helen and St. James's wife Deb, who are investigating the disappearance of a young girl who may or may not have been kidnapped. And there's politics involved, and it's very distressing that the adults involved in this child's disappearance are not acting the way that you would expect adults to act. So it's very interesting and very compelling to read. So I'm enjoying that. And then another buddy read that I am working on, and it's on my Kindle. This is The Sound of the Sea, Seashells and the Fate of the Oceans by Cynthia Barnett. And I am buddy reading this with Rachel. And we have yet to have our first check-in. And in fact, I have yet to read up to where I need to read to. So I will be doing that today. Sorry for the glare. This is a nonfiction book about seashells. And so far, the little bit I've read about the first 25 pages so far. It's about the history of what we know about seashells and their evolution. So that is really fascinating. How the microbes in the broth that was the planet millions of years ago evolved to create these hard shells around themselves for protection. So I'm really enjoying that, really enjoying learning about different archaeological stuff that people have figured out about seashells and what that means for marine creatures, because these are marine creatures that we're talking about, invertebrates for the most part, but also some other things. So yeah, really enjoying this so far. Barnett has a very sort of, what's the word I want? Her style of writing is quite accessible and really, I think, available to anybody to read, even if you're not particularly into marine biology. I don't think that this book would be off-putting to anybody. So yeah, so far really enjoying this read. So those are the two things that I will be focused on. I will probably mix in some other things over the course of the 4 days. We shall see what we get up to, and I will let you know when I've made some progress. Good morning, friends. It is Tuesday of this mid-month book bash that I'm cheating on and extending into Tuesday. And I have not checked in with you, as you can hear in my voice. I have come down with some kind of chest cold, which is no fun and makes my voice sound terrible. So I apologize for that. You can see from the tree behind me, in some footage from earlier in this, we got our tree this weekend. We've lived through a major wind and rainstorm. We did get that tree cleaned up out of the driveway, so we can now come in and go out of the house, which we couldn't before. So that happened. My husband was at work. I work from home most days, particularly now in the off season when it's cold and nasty outside. And so, yeah, that tree came down yesterday sometime during the day, and we were having, wind gusts of up to 65, 70 miles an hour. So it blew right down and landed across the driveway. So it was a good thing I didn't have to go anywhere yesterday. But it's all cleaned up now and everything's good. Nothing was ruined, which was nice. So what have I been reading? Not much in this mid-month book bash, to be honest. But I have made progress. Excuse the glare. I have made progress in this book, The Sound of the Sea, Seashells, and the Fate of the Oceans by Cynthia Barnett. I am buddy reading this with Rachel, and I'm about, 150 pages into this nonfiction. It's really excellent. If you like sort of nature nonfiction, sort of cozier nonfiction, that's what I would say this is. This is the history of the evolution of invertebrates, mollusks, and gastropods, and things like that, and then how human cultures have utilized seashells through history. There's some really fascinating stuff about some indigenous tribes in Florida and how they used lightning whelks. Excuse me, how they use lightning whelks as for trade and also to build with, and that may have been part of the wealth of the Mississippian culture that built the huge city that existed before European settlement around the St. Louis area. So yeah, stuff like that in here. Just everything. Now learning, the section I'm reading right now is about the money cowrie, which originated, I mean, their cowrie shells can be found all over the world, but the particular species that is known as money cowrie is from the Maldives. And that's fascinating. They had female sultanas throughout history. So it was a matriarchal society. And much of the history of that has been lost over time because of changes in religious and political leadership in that area. So fascinating. So yeah, lots of history along with your nature rating in this one. If that's something that you're into, it is something that I'm very much into. And then speaking of history, I've also started this historical mystery series. This is CJ Sansom, Revelation. This is book 4 in the Matthew Shardlake series. And I'm buddy reading this one with Doris. We've read all of these together, and I really love the character of Matthew Shardlake, who is a lawyer in the 1540s during the reign of King Henry VIII. The first few books included Thomas Cromwell, and that was really interesting as well. But now it's past the time when Cromwell is around, but the series continues on, and Shardlake is such an interesting character. So interesting to read about the society at that time. This is during the time when the split has happened between Catholic Church and the Church of England, the Protestant Church, and the rules, the religious rules that rule the common people and society, and how you have to follow those rules, and how everybody is subject, excuse me for my hand shaking and making this a very shaky video. Let me switch hands here. So yeah, so all of that stuff is quite interesting, and I really enjoy the characters. So I've only read the first 4 chapters of this so far. So yeah, not a whole heck of a lot of reading has been happening. I do have the rest of today, but I do have to work. And so I will check in with you at some point today and wrap this up. Hey friends, just coming on to end the mid-month book bash vlog here. It is Wednesday morning, and as you can tell from the sound of my voice, my cold has gotten worse and not better. And so I'm just going to end this here. This mid-month book bash vlog was not, as far as my reading goes, did not get very much done. But I did read 4 more chapters in this historical mystery that I'm reading with Doris. This is Revelation by CJ Sansom. Very much enjoying this. This is excellent. And if you like historical mysteries, I think this is a really great series. Really well written and engaging and very, very interesting. Lots to think about with this one. So going to continue on with this, and I'm currently on page 110. So, you know, I got a little ways in this one. And then I also have been reading in my nonfiction book, and this is The Sound of the Sea by Cynthia Barnett. This is the book about the history of what we know about mollusks and gastropods and seashells, basically, and how human history, through human history, how humans have utilized seashells for various different things. Last night I couldn't sleep, and I was reading about how the Shell Oil Corporation started with a family business to create those kind of trinkets that you buy in beachside town gift shops, you know, little Shell jewelry boxes and little Shell picture frames and all that sort of stuff. The family that founded Shell Oil Corporation, that's how they started the business back in the 1800s. So fascinating. Yeah, really great book. Learning so much from this. And of course, my own personal interest in mollusks and gastropods really plays into this, but I think it's really interestingly written and engaging. So I think this is also a great pick. So I'm going to stop this here because my throat really hurts and I don't want to talk anymore. So that's it. I'm sorry for the lack of reading content in this vlog, but it is Christmas time and it is busy. I hope you're all doing well and finding some great books to read. I will talk to you later.